ask Phil to walk us through a little bit what it actually takes to build a hot rod like this, between the suspension, the brakes, the transmission. Oh, it's crazy what you had to do with that. So come on, we'll walk through it a little bit. Okay, so newer cars, you know, have to have high pressure. What is the pressure on it? 60 psi. So you got 60 psi in the fuel system, right? And the newer cars all mount the fuel pump, delivery pump, in the tank to keep it cool. Is that correct?
Yep.
Right. So don't run your cars low on fuel. You know why?
Fuel pump gets cooled by the fuel.
Right. So it runs hot. All stainless steel exhaust, correct?
Yep.
This is the Dana 60 rear end.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. What gear you got in this thing?
355, I believe.
See, I like using, but you did, actually Phil chose the gear. The customer chose the gear at the end of the day, but it's actually very similar to what would be in a Charger to me, is that right?
Yeah, it's middle of the road.
Is it? Murphy, I need you to answer the question. Can you tell if this is an independent suspension or not? Independent rear suspension or not?
Yes,
It is?
it is.
Nice, like done, it's not. So we got QA1 styles, you know, suspension. This is where your springs are at. Murphy, you want to look right in here. Right? It's adjustment on the back of the dampener, is that correct?
Yeah, there's rebound and dampening on most. This one is single adjustable.
This is called the panhard bar. The panhard bar is what actually is going to keep your wheels
Centered. It centers that rear end.
right. Actually, the wheels actually move a little bit to the right when the suspension compresses. People don't really realize that. This is called the ladder bar suspension. They don't make things for 60 Furies, so when you build a custom car like this, we pretty much had to do everything. Yeah, we didn't put that in this quote. So, what kind of horsepower could a rear end like this handle?
This one, I think we're like 750 on this one. I mean, it really can handle some power.
So, set the pinion angle with these adjustments here at the bottom of the ladder bars. Okay, are you surprised at any of that?
No.
The drivability, we're not to the drivability factor yet because we could still hit a hiccup in our giddy up, right? You know, this is a unibody car. There is no frame and chassis here, basically. You know, it stops here and it uses the whole upper roof of the car, it uses the A-pillars and it uses the back of the door pillars as all part of the unibody car. So Mopar, pretty much everything Mopar is unibody, isn't it? Yeah. And Lincolns. Ugh. Anyways, getting this to actually work right, we had to actually design where the wheels are going to go and get the clearancing that we wanted on that. We had to design the suspension, the travel. Even look at the exhaust berth that it's tucked up in there. I mean, you can look at the way, but even you can see where the fuel lines run, the brake lines run. It's all real high and tight, real clean. We got these mufflers set up in a position to be able to not get droning. So we had to custom fabricate the cross member.
Reinforces the ladder because we only have 3 attachment points to the car right now with the ladder bars,
right.
So it's reinforcing it. All the power is coming through here.
And it ties the back end of the unibody together, right? Which it doesn't really have other than the top of the car. So I kind of triangulates it down to the bottom. A lot of the unibody cars actually use the new cars. They have crush zones.
Yeah.
So they're all engineered to have crush zones. This is going to have a crush zone if it gets into it too hard. So this is one thing we did job out. We had to actually job out this aluminum drive shaft, and what's really unique about it is the coupling in the front. You see this ring right here? It's called an inductor ring. An inductor ring has an encoder, and it's going to use a Hall effect sensor that's basically mounted. We had to custom modify all this stuff. So that reluctor ring, right?
Yep.
I don't still know what they call it. I know what it does and how it works. But
it's
that
reluctor.
reluctor ring is basically, aren't they usually meant for the wheels?
Yeah.
So they're mounted by the wheels, and they would give you, they manage your ABS, and it tells the speed of the car, that kind of stuff. So in order to modify this car to actually get it to work so it communicates back, we both took the left side and the right side, so it does not have traction control. However, we combined those together and we used one inductor ring to actually transmit the information back over the CAN bus.
And we had to do that because that's what's required to make the transmission work properly in this car, in this particular application.
So we had we used our machine tools to actually make it fit, cut it in, space it out. It's got a really weird connector on the front too.
Yes.
Isn't it like almost like rag joints kind of?
Pretty much, and that's what was really special about it and why this drive shaft cost so much money to have made.
It really? Don't tell me.
No, I won't.
Let's just focus on the pretty well then, Murph. All this custom bracketry, all this mounting, all that electronic interface that had to be done, we had to actually design that, build it, make it specifically for the 60 Plymouth that we're building. So this thing is going to run and operate like a new car, you know what I mean? But we had to adapt some of the things that it's looking for what it does, that actually communicates, does that communicate over the CAN bus? So a CAN bus is basically the communication protocol that lets all the distributed microcontrollers inside the car actually operate. So each little piece, whether it's a door controller or a window controller, has an address. And over that SPI bus or CAN bus or LIN bus, it's like a busway of communication. So everything that doesn't have to be wired independently in the car, it just all squawks over this is called a CAN bus in this car. Whether it's a horn or your lights or the audio controls, it all has an address. An address is connected to a button. The button's smart enough to run it. And then basically that little distributed microcontrol that's actually mounted there and then communicates up with the computer has to be able to squawk back and forth and know it's okay. So if you don't have all that stuff working correctly, that's when you get all your idiot lights on, right?
Yep.
So you see the lights on, that kind of stuff. Those are good indicators. So when you plug in an OBD port, right, that computer runs and scans and it says address number, 2257896 is this thing and it's not responding, or it's stuck, it's here, it's wherever. So lots of technology goes into actually, applying it into this whole thing. Thank God we got some engineering resources. We got, the best lead guy in the country, me, and then there's Phil.
I knew that was coming.
So this is the original frame, part of the unibody coming up, and then you see the change. And you can see it's plated over, it comes all the way through here, it comes all the way through here. We actually had to cut the frame out, we put it on chassis jig, and then we jigged it up all where the car is supposed to be, aligned all the panels, all that kind of stuff, and actually cut part of the chassis away. And then we refabricated it on the chassis jig itself, that way nothing moves. Upper and lower control arms you buy, it's kit, right?
Yep.
I think that was a Heights product.
Yes.
So we make our stuff fit to that, but all the suspension, all the parts and all the pieces, and even the pockets that hold the top of the shocks, we had to custom make that. So the motor mounts, the headers, the cross member up front, all that stuff's the custom fabrication. You have to do that as it's on and in a chassis jig. Transcooler, AC condenser, and then you got your regular radiator behind it. But if you look at how everything's neat, square, straight, all the lines are mounted up, all the holes are grommeted around everything, that's the drivability factor. Everything's nested together. That's what makes it so you don't drive down the road for a bit and something's grounded out, something power. It's all those little details that actually make it a much better build. It's a pain in the butt. Oh yeah, that one is a bit easier. 58 vet, they got lots of parts for that. 60 Fury, not so much.
No.
Gives you an idea. We made a custom dash to go inside of it. It's got the air conditioning vents in it, like right here, over in the side. So this has vintage air system that's installed all up behind the firewall because we flattened out the firewall. There's that 6.1 liter Hemi Willward brake system. So it's pretty straightforward up top actually. That's all the custom steering linkage. That's all made out of stainless. And then there's always a carrier. It'll be quick.
Yeah, it'll be fast. 500 horse.
We start it?
Yeah, fine.
Me?
Sure.
Oh boy. Ready? Fire in the hole. Oh! Mommy, like that's how it should run.
I gotta say, I think it's got an edge on Rustimus.
Shut up. Well, thanks, Phil. So we are really a car shop. We actually have guys that actually work on cars.
Could you work on Rustimus?
We can even fix Rustimus.